Honey, where are my glasses? Have you seen my glasses? Well, it's cleared up. We're here at Sacramento Valley Station. This land used to be a lake. It used to be covered by water. It was called Sutter Lake. In 1861, when there was talk of the Transcontinental Railroad starting in Sacramento and heading east, they had to deal with the water. And they did, but in sort of a temporary way. It wasn't until 1910 that the problem was completely solved. And then in 1926, this beautiful building was opened. So it was 100 years ago. The city of Sacramento purchased the building in 2006, renovated the inside, and by 2016 there was a new way to get to the trains, the Amtrak trains that board behind the building. Up until 2016, trains boarded behind the station quite near, but as you can see, that area has now grown over with weeds. And since 2016, there has been a path that leads to the new platform. It takes a few minutes to walk from the station to the platform. I should say platforms, as there are several of them. But in a way, that's a good thing because you get to stretch your legs a bit before you sit down on the train. Once you find where your train is leaving from, in this case, it's the Capitol Corridor 535 from track 6W, you go ahead and head up the ramp. Up on the platform, you will notice to the north that there is a lot of construction activity. Sacramento is in the long process of redeveloping its old rail yard.
Once again, this is Amtrak Capital Corridor 95, 35 all the way to Oakland, Jacqueline. General seating upstairs.
Looks like I'm going to get a seat.
We also ask that you please read the safety pamphlets on the back seats in front of you to be familiar with the equipment that you're riding on today. There's absolutely no smoking on any Amtrak trains. That's including electronic cigarettes and vaping devices. Please have your tickets out. Conductors are making their way through the train to scan those tickets. Our first station stop coming up will be Davis. Davis Station is next.
few things to tell you about Davis. In the 1960s, apparently became the first U.S. city to have bike lanes where the city actually painted the lanes on the streets. Every year there's something called UC Davis Picnic Day, which attracts 125,000 people sometimes. And also in the summer and fall, apparently, I've never seen this, but apparently there are colorful pianos on sidewalks in Davis that people can stop and play.
There's absolutely no smoking on any Amtrak trains. That's including electronic cigarettes and vaping devices. Ladies and gentlemen, we are working a 7-car set today. Car 1 is towards the front of the train in our direction of travel, with car 7 as the rearmost car on this train. If you join us here in Davis, please have your tickets out. Conductors are making their way through the train to scan those tickets. Our next station stop coming up will be Fairfield-Vacaville. Fairfield-Vacaville station is next.
Once the train gets going again, it quickly passes the University of California, Davis, which, among many other attributes, has a very nice arboretum to take walks in. On board, Amtrak, as usual, has a dining car. The selections are modest in terms of variety, mostly snacks. The prices are decent. I think you might find yourself paying too much for alcohol if that's the way you want to go, but other than that, it's convenient. Along this stretch, the train passes by many commuter communities. A lot of people can't afford housing in the Bay Area, so they live out here. There's not a whole lot I have to tell you about Vacaville. One odd explanation of its name is that it is a combination of Spanish and French. Vaca in Spanish means cow, and ville in French means town. So Vacaville is Cowtown.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, coming up here in just a few moments, we'll be our next station stop of Sassoon. Here at Sassoon, folks, we are going to be in the outside track, so please watch your step when stepping off the train, and please use a designated tow path to cross over to the Sassoon station.
Fairfield's claim to fame, perhaps, at least with families and people with sweet tooth, is that it is the site of the Jelly Belly factory, which has offered public tours for many years, as has the Budweiser plant. Also public tours, probably not as family focused. Last year, USA Today declared that Sassoon Valley, which is nearby, is the nation's top wine region. Well, the fog has returned a bit as we cross from Benicia, which is to the right, over to Martinez, which is curved around on the south side. Martinez has several things going for it. What comes to mind with me is that Joe DiMaggio was born there. Also, it was a stop on the Pony Express. As you saw in Benicia and passing Martinez are several oil refineries. They've been there since 1915 when Shell built a refinery there. Martinez is also the site of the John Muir House. Definitely worth visiting if you're around. He played a major role in the development of Yosemite National Park. In 1874 or thereabouts, a bartender in Martinez served a wealthy miner a drink that he called a Martinez Special. And this drink was different enough that it caught someone's attention to the extent that it is considered to have been the first martini. So Martinez, California, birthplace of the martini. As you travel on Amtrak between Martinez and Richmond, you get a wonderful, steady view of water. And along the waterside for much of that view is the San Pablo Bay Regional Shoreline Trail. The next stop is going to be in Richmond, which during World War II had 4 shipyards that contributed mightily to the U.S. effort in that global conflict. Richmond is also the birthplace of Kaiser Permanente, and it has a very interesting National Historic Site, Rosie the Riveter, which goes into great and entertaining detail about the role the women played in helping the war effort. As the bus makes its way from Emeryville towards San Francisco, it hops on Interstate 80. And I hope you get a better seat than I did. I was at the back of the bus, so certainly the views ahead were not good there. We just passed the toll booths, which by the way are no longer used. Everything is done in an automated fashion. Drivers get tickets or fees mailed to them. Unless they're enrolled in a fast track program. Here you start to see the San Francisco views, the Golden Gate Bridge, Alcatraz. There's Coit Tower on top of the hill there to the right, and Transamerica Building, some of the other downtown landmarks. The Ferry Building is a popular place to go. I hope to include that in a vlog sometime soon. Many cruise lines stop in San Francisco Bay. There's another look at Alcatraz, and over to the right is Angel Island, which is a place where you can take a ferry and walk around for a nice day trip. Eventually, the bus will make its way to Salesforce Park, which is a terminal that serves 13 different transit companies, mostly bus lines. This is a remarkable public area. It's 5.4 acres, largely above ground, and on top is a park that is composed of some 600 trees and 16,000 plants. Salesforce Park opened in 2018 and has been a major hit for San Francisco since then. The bus arrived about 15 minutes behind schedule, which made some of us nervous about possibly not making the train. But as it turned out, the good natured bus driver got us there in plenty of time. We, of course, had to go back over the Bay Bridge. And if you can see Pac Bell Park, it's actually called Oracle Park. That's the site of Pablo Sandoval's major 2012 heroics. Look it up. Game one, 3 home runs. And whoa, I'm not the only person with white hair on the bus. Anyway, you can look back if your seat allows to the skyline one more time. As we approach Oakland on the far side of the Bay Bridge, beyond Treasure Island, you can see the new structure, the new Bay Bridge. It's about 12 years old, and then look out the window at the Oakland terminal, the freight terminal for major shipping. At the Emeryville train station, as this train was coming in, I thought I was far enough away from the tracks, but I nearly got knocked over. Yeah, that's a big force of wind at play there. Anyway, it all worked out great, and away we went. Scenery, not always all that, well, I'll let you come to your own conclusions about that particular scene. The Amtrak stop at Richmond, by the way, is where you can get off and, with a short walk, find yourself in the BART Richmond station. And from there, you can take BART to the airport, which is very handy for those of us who live in Sacramento or in those parts. It means that we don't have to get on the freeway and find a place to park at the airport. On this train ride, you go underneath several really big bridges, including these two at the Carquinez Strait. The first one, which is above right now, is headed westbound. It is a suspension bridge that was completed in 2003. And the eastbound bridge, the older looking one, Cantilever Bridge, is from 1958. A few miles down the track is the Benicia Martinez crossing, which is composed of 3 bridges. The one you see in the distance there dates from 2007 and is for northbound traffic. We are on a 1930 drawbridge here in the train, and behind us, which you can't see, is the southbound bridge, which is from 1962. Hey, thanks a lot for riding along. In my opinion, Amtrak is a wonderful alternative if you're a solo traveler. It makes a little less sense if you're traveling with multiple people and the cost goes up, and then maybe it makes more sense to go by car. I don't know. But anyway, in my case, this has been a wonderful day. I hope you've enjoyed it. See you next time.